Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Standing here outside my new shack, quite cozy but a little bit chilly this time of the year. I know that the YouTuber Basement Bodybuilding has made a point saying something like, if there is a thing like science-based lifting, it implies that there must also be such a thing as science cringe lifting. I also saw he put out a video recently on the topic of, the title is something like, why lifting will never be science-based. I haven't had time to watch it. Me, I'd like to say that if there's a thing such as science-based lifting, it also implies that there is a thing such as just based lifting. Okay, based. What is based? The modern term, just saying based like this. Well, really true. You know, often that it's based because maybe you say something that someone else doesn't dare to say or something, but no nonsense bullshit, the real fucking deal. Okay, based lifting. That's what I'm about. That's what someone like Eric Bugenhagen would embody, right? Being fucking based. And you are the truth, you know. He is the truth. Just look at the man, right? Fucking powerhouse. Mindset, yelling, screaming, being big and strong as fuck. Yeah, he's a based lifter. And you know, I'm really sick and tired of even talking or like criticizing the science-based fitness sphere. Some of us have been critical for a few years, and recently there's been all this with exercise science enthusiast Mike's PhD turned out to be complete crap, and everything, you know, that happened from that. Even Jeff Nippard has shown his true colors to a degree. I feel like I have a feeling that I was a little bit wrong about him. You know, it's never black or white, but I feel like he was more dishonest than I thought. Actually, more science gimmicky than I thought. Okay, and you know, my main point in a video like this isn't really to point out or complain or, you know, criticize charlatans that would associate themselves with science, you know, dress up as science, literally like this Milo Wolf guy, right, wearing the coat, the lab coat, and the glasses, dressing up as science in order to come off credible, in order to promote their shit and sell their shit, right, that isn't really necessarily scientific at all, and definitely not the best way to approach it all. Of course, that's, I don't like that. Of course, they should be criticized, but this has clearly been a thing always, that, yeah, some people, they are just not going to be as honest as some of us are. They don't care mainly about the truth and helping people. They care mainly about making a personal profit. So a little lying, little dishonesty, a little bit of presentation, a little bit of showmanship and tricks, they don't mind at all in order for personal profit, right? Like, of course, all of us that do a profession, we need some personal profit, but some of us just wouldn't. The profit doesn't come above the truth and helping people. The profit's supposed to come downstream from that, is the point, right? But I guess my frustration is that, because it comes so naturally to me, you know, it's seeing, especially in this information society of 2025, internet, social media, and even just the way we're educated, especially here in Sweden. I can't speak for everywhere, but I would guess that it's similar all over the West. It would be better and worse in some places. But we're so drilled to think in a certain way. Listen to the authority. You know, listen to the authority. It says, if the authority said it, it must be true. Don't even question it. Critical thinking, not really something we're taught, you know. Even if we're taught to do that, it's still within a certain span. You know, we're kind of taught to be very narrow-minded, not even think for ourselves a lot of the time. And when we do, well, within this framework, it's okay here. You're thinking for yourself out here, oh, you're crazy. You're the crazy one, you know. And to me, the overly science-based approach to fitness, this is also the funny thing, a frustration of mine, that it's like how someone that reads a lot of books would think they're smart because they read books. And you know, I made my points about books, and I kind of troll a little bit while making my real point. There's nothing wrong with books. You can definitely learn from books if you are a, you know, good person, a smart person, someone with critical thinking abilities. Reading, you know, just adds on to that. But just reading 100 books in and of itself did nothing other than fill you with certain information, you know, if you cannot use it properly, right? It's the same thing with a thing like science, you know. It's a scientific method we're about, but a lot of people that think I'm smart, you know, I'm smart because I follow what the science says, you know. You don't really, you know, you just listen to whatever person you've associated with science. That's now your authority. You're not really thinking critically. You've just sought out the appearance, the dress up, the cloth of science, right? And now you think you're smart because you're doing this, but I think this is so low IQ. Like, I think you that are telling me how much you listen to the science, I think you're fucking stupid. Most people that would be like that, okay? Because you're not thinking for yourself at all. And the problem when it comes to something like fitness, I would guess, I'm gonna watch Basement Bodybuilding's video later, but why a thing like lifting cannot be entirely science-based, you know, there can be science that can be done on studying the body and stuff that might be interesting and helpful, and even for other things outside of just how do we make gains, you know. But when it comes to things like making gains, it's such a systemic whole thing that the person does, you know. And so many times within science, we end up looking just at one variable for itself, isolated, and then we draw some conclusions when we do different things with this one, around this one variable. But then it's just that in reality, that's never how it's approached, you know. Like, let's say just have 20 people do a leg press in different ways and then seeing the outcomes of that. Well, the thing is, we're never going to have someone that just does a leg press. There's going to be an entire regimen around what they do that leads to the best result, right? Point is that so much science that seemingly even shows some kind of interesting finding is like, well, no, not really, because it never looks like that in practice, right? And so, base lifting, to me, the thing is this, guys, we have to use the mind to some degree to like think and figure out what would make muscles grow. We have a body, they have certain functions. Okay, using these muscles, it's probably had to be tough enough, it has to be often enough, it has to be enough of it, and these things, right? But so much is going to come from your experience, okay? It's not just the mind, like literally you're using your body, but you know that we talk about the humans having 5 senses. I'm gonna start walking because I have a client. We have 5 senses, is what they say, you know, smell, touch, taste, and so on. But we have many more senses. And when you are a lifter that's really into what you do, and you really observe yourself, you're gonna be able to sense uncommon sense, right? You're gonna be able to, the more you do it also, you're gonna be able to sense and notice little differences in your body that no fucking study could ever tell you about, okay? So the best way, base lifting, because of course, it's not that educating yourself with information external to you is a bad thing altogether, you know. But it's going to be, if you are this thing, oh, I'm gonna listen to the science person. Now, instead of you holistically being a person that's into lifting and having your process that also includes some things that you picked up from other people, you know, you're gonna have like, no, this thing I do this because that's science said this, and this thing I do this. It's gonna be, instead of a whole thing, it's gonna be like a collection of little, you know, nuggets of whatever. It's like it's not something that flows together, and probably not something that's for you, because you've just taken external pieces and put something together instead of taking in a few and combining them with all the own pieces you have yourself. So my recommendation for how to approach fitness, learning what works for you in order to build muscle, is find the best source. Is not some fucking science guy or study. It is the guy that lives it, you know, the guy that has the sort of result that you already had. And let me tell you, it's not just an =1 study with someone like me, for instance, a coach. Like, yeah, I've learned so much based on my own experience, but I've also trained in person many different people, many different kinds of people, and coach people online. And so I expand. I'm like a walking study that keeps expanding, right? So you want to find a person like that to either be your coach, you know, directly, or just listen to their content, their teachings, or their book, or whatever they have, right? But then I want you to go, you find some kind of starting point. And again, your starting point now, I'm not just talking to beginners. Your starting point could be where you are right now. That's your current point. But then I want you, from the right people, I want you to take in nuggets of information and never believe them just because someone said them. I've said that for years and years and years on this channel. That obviously I believe that what I say is true. Obviously I think it's going to work for you, but I never want you to do it just because I said it. Maybe that you try it to begin with is because I said it, but I want you to, if you have a different experience, you shouldn't be like, oh, this is what Theo told me to do, And I'm not saying that the results are coming, but that's what Theo said. He's my authority now. It's like, think for your fucking self has been a main message on Uncommon Sense, right? So, wherever you are now, you can always find little nuggets to take in and consider and experiment with, but you are the fucking scientist, okay? That is what science-based, like actual based lifting is the true science-based lifting, really. You go do the science, you have a hypothesis, you have a theory, you go test it out, you gather enough data, and then you draw conclusions from that. Did it work or not? Or did it work a little bit, but maybe with this adjustment it would work a little better, right? That's how to do it. That's how to do it. It's like, I understand that some of us are more follower people, and some more like teacher, leader people. That's fine, you know. And for instance, like if you're a good athlete, or even just someone that's good at lifting in the sense that, you know, you're not professional, but you can train hard and you can be consistent, but you just aren't the person that figures out the best approach. Like, well, the smartest thing you can do then is to actually hire a coach, for instance. But what I'm saying is that even though people have different skill sets, are, you know, differently qualified to do such a thing, I think the way our society currently is, it really discourages critical thinking for yourself, and really pushes you in a listen to the authority. See, science is pretty much like God said, you know, when religion has been used in a toxic way. That's what science has become a lot. Like, well, listen to the science, trust the science. It's like almost like trust God's plan, you know. Ridiculous. Based lifting, guys. That's what's up. So now, literally seeing my client over there in a gym we're gonna go to. So please like and comment. Always interested to hear your thoughts. It helps support the channel, helps the algorithm, more people find their way here, so it's very much appreciated. I do holistic bodybuilding coaching, getting jacked and stacked mentally, physically, spiritually, working on ourselves, body, mind and soul, becoming this person that eventually just is self-reliantly jacked and stacked. You can pick up my training book for the same thing. My book is very much like, it has all the information, as little technical fucking science information as you need, and everything about the process of becoming this jacked individual. I have my Consistent King course too, that's focused on building the habits of a consistent king, obviously. Someone that is jacked, stacked, lean, ripped, gets shit done. Yeah, guys. And please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, looks and weight building, muscle, self-improvement, soul system, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset. Nu kör vi. Peace.